Joining us now is a longtime friend of the program. He's a national champion and a dual threat analyst to rival any across the country. Uncle B, Blaine Fowler, is back from a trip to Barcelona, no less.
You were just in Barcelona like a day ago.
Yeah. Welcome back.
It's funny, like, I don't know that we play on our Olympics as much as they do. Like, people would say, we hosted the Olympics here in '92, and we go, oh, yeah, we had an Olympic Games too. We don't think to lead with that, but they still hang their hat on that, which is really cool. What a beautiful city, amazing city. If you haven't been to Barcelona, man, I would just highly recommend it. So much culture. It's a beach city. We had a great time. Brendan and I always do a one-week getaway right before this week, before football starts and life changes for us, and we don't have a weekend until March. So we have to do something so that she and I can connect for a week and then just hold on to that for the months that bring football and basketball season. So that was our break.
Hey, what a great time to do it. And the Olympics that produced the dream team for United States basketball.
And they stayed in the Hotel Arts right on the beach. And right behind that is the Olympic Village. And they were telling us, one of the guides that we had on a bike tour was like, yeah, this is where the dream team stayed. And I goes, this where all the athletes stayed? He goes, oh, no. Just the dream team stayed here. Everybody else stayed in that Olympic Village right behind there, but Michael and the group, they stayed right here.
That's funny. Well, Michael would venture off to Monaco to gamble and come back. Yeah. Okay, we're talking, obviously, fall camp, but let's talk about the elephant in the room is the Pac-12 and the Big 12 and everything.
Did you have the internet in Barcelona to
stay
I was following all that?
How do you not follow it? Like, people over there weren't following it, but certainly we were following it while we were there, mostly through Twitter. When you're over there, that's how you keep up on news. But yeah, it's interesting to me, and I know we're going to hear some things in the next couple of days. And I heard you guys just now, as I was listening to the end of that last segment, talking about it's interesting from a fan perspective. Nobody wants Utah. They want Utah like damaged by this, right? I think it'd be great to have Utah in the conference, and to think that Utah's not having conversations is naive. Like they're talking to Colorado about what they did before they did it. They're weighing all of their options to see what's viable and what's left. And I think what Colorado probably did is said, hey, this musical chairs game, we're not the most attractive team in the Pac-12, and we've got a chair that's open for us right now, and the music hasn't even stopped. So let's take the sure thing and sit in the chair right now, because when the music stops and we get this deal and it's not as what we hoped it would be, there might not be any chairs for us. So let's take it. But I do feel like it was the first domino that fell. So others are going, oh, man, like now there's one less chair. So what do we do here? So I think there'll be at least one more team from the Pac that'll go before this is said and done, and maybe three more. We're going to see.
Who do you think the one would be? Arizona?
I think Arizona is the most likely because they've been having conversations along with Colorado. And the Big 12 values good basketball. Let's face it. It's the top basketball league in America. And Arizona has facilities and some history in football where they could upgrade and get good, but they're a national basketball program that could compete right now in that league. So they make a lot of sense.
The ingenuity and the gamesmanship of Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark to just float out August 1st as the date that he wants to, make the decision by is just, it's a subtle play, but it is really, really big time. Because now you're forcing the hand of the Pac-12 to be like, well, we got to see what the deal is. They need George Kliavkoff to present to them the numbers because there's that last spot we think, hey, we got room for one more.
At least one.
Who's going to be it?
Yeah.
So for him to do that and kind of put it on a timetable, it's just all this fascinates me. And, while you said like Utah's, I'm sure, doing the research, we heard yesterday there was a report that said that they're slow to answer the phone.
I saw that same report.
Do you believe they're talking to people, or do you know that?
No, I think that they're talking to people. Yeah, I believe they are. I have a little bit of news.
It'd be really naive of them to not at least field the phone call.
No, they're talking to people. I think that their primary hope is that this deal is something good and they can stay where they are. They feel like it's a good fit. And that's all fine, but I don't think they've not been answering the phone. I think that they're pursuing and balancing all things, and I don't think that they felt like they had to be in a chair before the music stopped.
Yeah.
Right, but I do think that Colorado did.
But
now that they did that, it makes it a little more desperate. And Yormark's not only been brilliant with this whole management of this and the way it all looks, but from the very beginning, he was like, hey, let's go get an extension on the deal right now. Let's go. Let's not wait around for everybody else to see what's left over. He's been ahead of the curve since the day he stepped into that role. And, you know, we had him not very long after on our Countdown to Kickoff game day show, right? And he sat down with us, and we visited with him off air. And when he walked away, we just all looked at each other and said, okay, this guy's a visionary. He gets it. He's not going to sit around and wait for things to happen and then try to pick up the pieces. He's going to be proactive and not reactive, and it has shown up in a big way. The Big 12's in the best spot it's been in years.
Okay, fall camp. What's the burning question you want answered by the end of fall camp?
Can Kedon Slovis be the Kedon Slovis that played his first 2 years at USC? Can he get that confidence back and that mojo back, understand this offense well enough to get the ball out on time and make good decisions and be a leader? What we've heard all summer long and through spring ball was, this dude gets it. He's a phenomenal leader. Everybody loves him on this team. He's come in and hasn't acted big time. He's like fit right in. He's picked up the offense quickly. Here's what we know as a sure thing. He can make every throw in the playbook. Every throw in the playbook. Physically, he's gifted. He has an NFL skill set. But remember, we said that about Zach Wilson his sophomore year. And I kept saying, now if Zach can start to get the ball out on time and make better decisions, he can be big time. And he made such progression, and then in his junior year, he was ridiculous, right? So Kedon was somewhat ridiculous his first couple of years in that offense. I think he fits really well. If he can grasp this and find the right receivers, can make great pre-snaps reads and get the ball, I know he can make all the throws and physically can play that position. If he can do that and prove that by the end of fall camp, hey, let's face it, it's the most important position in any team sport, period. I don't care what sport it is the most important team sport individual position. To be good, you have to be good there. So he has to be good, and that's what I'm watching.
Amen. Blaine Fowler is with us on BYU Sports Nation. Okay, if it's not the quarterback position, which position group do you feel the most confident in heading into 2023 BYU training camp?
Kind of 1A, 1B. Probably 1A, the offensive line. And people aren't really talking that much about it, but you got 5 guys that are going to start that have started a ton of football games and a bunch of P5 football games. 3 of those starters will have started a bunch of P5 football games over their career, right? This offensive line is better than they were last year. How am I saying that? Yeah, Blake Freeland.
Are you saying
drafted.
And the Barrington brothers.
Quality? What exactly are you
They're
saying?
better. They have more talent. They're bigger and more physical, and they're deeper than last year.
And that was
how can I even, guys? How can I?
I don't know.
I
don't know. How can you say that?
It was the #1 rated pass blocking team in the country, PFF, and 12th in the run block.
Yeah. You saw these guys. You went and watched. Etienne he's a monster of a human being and has good technique and long arms. Kingsley's a year older and better. Pay is a phenomenal talent and a year older and better. Lapawahu, you go watch him on film. He's a monster.
Paul Miley.
And Miley has started a ton of games. He's a leader. Technique is great. Big, strong, physical. I think this line is going to be more physical. And so then I say 1A, 1B would be, they're so deep at running back right now. And last year we were really concerned. Can they get a 3rd and 1? Last year in 10 was 3rd and 1. I got a knot in my stomach, right? This year I'm like 3rd and 1. Nobody should stop this team in the Big 12 on 3rd and 1. They should be able to line up kind of like when they had Tyler, and not because they have a Tyler, because that's a really, really special player, right? But they got enough good running backs behind that line that I feel like can just knock people off the ball. I feel like 3rd and 1 should almost be a given this year, and that changes your offense. If you can stay on the field longer, it changes the game. And so 1A for me is I'm really confident in that offensive line, and 1B is, Deion Smith, Aiden Robbins, Deion Smith, Miles Davis is back and healthy. Hinckley Ropati is back. You get the brand new freshman coming right out of Texas, and LJ that people are confident about. But as you look at that group that's up on the screen right now, has BYU been that deep at running back? You had Tyler Algier, you had a Jamal Williams, but you kind of had them, not this kind of depth at running back.
The hope is you can pull off a Harvey Unga, Fuivakapuna, Manasseh Tonga kind of group, where it doesn't matter who gets the ball, but Harvey's the horse, obviously.
Think about how good BYU was in their ability to run the ball when they had exactly what you just described. When they had those 3 guys.
Possible.
It's like 3rd and 2, they're getting this. Like, they will move the chains here. because you've got to load up the box to defend the run game when you have those kinds of players on the offensive line and at running back. And then you load up the box, and then Aaron can be crafty with his play calling, and sometimes you play action. Play action's great on 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 3 when you have a run threat. When you
screen to Hinckley.
When people say, which I felt was at times last year, 3rd and 3, I think we can play our base D right here, and we can stop them for less than 3 yards if they run it against our base D. So now we can play pass defense, but if this year on 3rd and 3, we better put an extra player in the box, because we will not stop them for running unless we load it up. And so now what if they play action? Now that's a problem. I think they're in a better position to manage that.
If BYU had been better on 3rd and short.
And 4th and short for that matter, historically bad.
You beat ECU and Notre Dame.
Absolutely.
You win 10 games.
Yep.
And it's as good of a team as we were hoping for.
That was
a struggle.
It's such an important down. Keeping the chains moving and sustaining drives is unbelievably important for both sides of the ball. Gives your defense, even if you end up punting and you get one more first down every time you're on the field, your defense gets more rest, they have more time to play, and your defense plays better. And so that was a problem last year. Remember, injuries cost them problems. They just weren't as deep. You're replacing an NFL rookie that ran for 1,000 yards. They're in so much better shape at running back this year than they were last year.
Okay, now on the opposite side, and I think I know how you're going to answer this because it's kind of been the same answer since spring ball, but what's the group that has you pausing the most, that you have the most questions about, that you really are a little unsure about? Yeah,
you and I have talked about it. We've talked about it on the air and off the air. I'm concerned about the safeties, just like who's going to be what's going to be the group. Like, they have 3 that have played a lot, and I don't even know if they know right now on day 2. Yesterday was just meetings. Today's the first day out on the field. So they're in shorts and T-shirts today and tomorrow. Then they're in shells the rest of the week, and then they finally get pads on next week. Right now, I don't think this coaching staff knows who's our starting 2 guys, and then who's that 3rd guy that rotates in. And they certainly aren't comfortable with 4.
Not Micah Harper, Malik Moore, Talon Alfrey?
Talon Alfrey played. It's those 3. But do you start? Are you confident enough in Talon at free, or do you need to move him mid-strong where he's more comfortable? And does that mean, and is Malik back healthy enough and have the right mindset that he can be the guy every down at free, and can he be physical enough in this defense? Or do you need to move Micah to free and play him at free and play Talon at strong? Or is Malik back enough and going to be physical enough that you can play him at free and play Micah at strong and have Talon rotate at both? Malik can't play strong, so he's limited to free.
Okay.
So these are all questions in my head where I'm going, of all the position groups on the field, I'm the most unsettled. Now, I like those 3 guys, right? I feel like it's not a position where they can have a bunch of injuries. I feel like Raider DeMooney's coming in as a freshman. He may be a freshman that plays. He's really skilled, but that's a big learning curve as a freshman, right? Yeah. Especially if you're in the back end at free, right? Strong's a little easier to play. And so, yeah, that's the position group. I love the corners. I love the depth at corner. I love the depth at backer. I love the starting 3 backers. And I actually like the D-line more than most people would think, because I think some of the guys that are coming back are in a better position in the type of technique they're going to play this year. Like Caden Hawes and Nisa Mahe, their skill set and size fits this defense really well. And so all of a sudden now they're really depth. You add Cravens and Bagnut and these guys, and Batty's bigger and more of a beast this year. I feel really good about every other level of that defense. The back end, I need some questions answered. What are they going to start? Who are they going to be? How are they going to go? That's my big question, not just on the defense, on the entire team.
Great stuff with Blaine Fowler. Thanks for the time, Blaine.
Got it. Glad to be here.
Come in with an opinion next time.
It's time.
Come on.